Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.
Welcome into another edition of Sports Junkies. See Sparky Fifer here from Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. He, of course, Gery Woelfel from the RacineSportsZone.com right here, which is what you're watching right now. Packer Talk for a Week 2 game coming up against the Washington Redskins.
You got
Packer.
Yeah,
Packer Talk.
Come on, let's pick up your game. We want a faster paced game today, like NFL. We got to keep it going,
Slowing it down.
Come on, Colin.
Packers and the Niners last week, Week 1. Did the Packers play closer than you thought they'd play?
Actually, they did. I thought they'd lose by 10 points or more, and that comes on the heels of a horrendous performance by the secondary. And everybody, has been writing about the safeties. You know what I thought absolutely was horrendous? And, he's been up and down his whole career, but he was horrendous in this game, and nobody's talking about him. And if this is an indicator of things to come, I think the Packers are in trouble. And that's Sam Shields.
Yeah, he played bad.
He played horribly. And everybody's focusing at the safety position, and understandably so. But, my God, there are some pass plays where Sam Shields wasn't even in the same area code with the receiver.
Yeah, you're right. And I think Shields relies a lot on his speed to make up ground. And likes to gamble a little bit, try to make the big play. Everybody says, well, when Morgan Burnett comes back, that will change things. Casey Hayward comes back, that'll change things. Morgan Burnett...
And they're both probably out Sunday again, right?
Well, Casey Hayward already ruled out for Sunday.
Right, exactly.
Morgan Burnett limited in practice. I'm not sure if he's going to play. But looking at it how it is right now, McMillan had no business being on that field on Sunday. You could say whatever you want about Sam Shields, and he did not play well, and I agree with you 110%. But McMillan just did not look like he belonged out there.
Oh, he looked like a college safety.
Yeah.
He really did. And he missed tackles on top of it. It wasn't only his coverage. He missed some tackles. Do you remember 2 weeks ago we were talking about this, about the NFL draft, and how the 49ers moved up and got Eric Reed in front of the Packers, and I said the Packers should have countered and jumped over them to get Eric Reed. Eric Reed came in Sunday, and he played great.
Played better than any safety on the Packers roster.
This kid's got big-time potential. I'm thinking, okay, let's put Eric Reed on the Packers, and let's see what happens. I think it would have been a totally different game because he's an impact player.
Yeah, he is an impact player. You're right about that. The defensive line, I thought, played well. They contained Frank Gore. Kaepernick, they didn't even bother to run the read option all that much in that football game. Clay Matthews got some pressure.
Oh, what happened there? Oh, no.
Yeah, he got some pressure. But yeah, I think the positive of the game is David Bakhtiari holding his own for pretty much the whole game. He gave up the sack right away early, and then after that, he did, I thought, pretty well.
Yeah, you know what, though? I think teams are going to make adjustments on that. I was shocked that the 49ers didn't overload that side, and bring a linebacker and, try to occupy Bakhtiari and say, hey, now you got to take one of our linebackers on with one of your backs and see what happens. And I was surprised that they didn't try to take advantage of that more.
Yeah, that was a surprise to me as well. Then the other thing you look at is Eddie Lacy, running back for the Green Bay Packers, a guy that I think everybody's counting on to be that guy, especially with DeJuan Harris going out. He has a fumble, gets benched by McCarthy in the first game.
I know, that was absolutely incredible. And I'll tell you what, who is the running back for the Giants? David Wilson.
Yeah.
Same thing.
They went outside Brandon Jacobs this week.
Exactly. So, some of these guys are old school coaches. You mess up, we're not going to. I disagreed with that. He's going to have more problems throughout the course of the year. He's a rookie, and it takes a while to adjust.
You don't have any better options.
Right,
James
exactly.
Starks and John Kuhn are not better options.
Not at all. Not even remotely close.
No.
And to Lacy's credit, in the second half when he came in, he had back-to-back nice games. Like 1 for 7, 1 for 8. So, he has to be good if the Packers are going to go deep in the playoffs.
I agree with you on that as well. The other thing to look at, obviously, in this whole deal is a wide receiver position. Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, both virtually don't play at all in the entire preseason. Come out, and Jordy Nelson especially put on a show.
That sideline reception was a highlight reel. That was incredible. When I saw Rodgers throwing the ball that far out of bounds, I said, no way. But then I forgot, Jordy Nelson isn't a 5'11"
Right.
receiver. I mean, that is one of the instances, hey, where his height, what is he, 6'5"?
6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, somewhere in that range, and with his long arms, and then on top of it, to keep his feet in bounds.
Right.
I mean, it was just a remarkable catch.
Yeah, he played really well. And then there's Finley. Finley.
And there's Finley, exactly.
He had the bobble that turned into an interception, but he also didn't play all that bad.
Okay, we just got done talking about Lacey making a mistake. How many times have we seen Jermichael Finley screw up in the last 2-3 years? Time after time after time, and McCarthy goes with him. Again, we're seeing a double standard already. Finley's got to get his act together. I mean, to me, he's a classic tease. One of these guys that you expect to be really good, and he never fulfills his potential.
Next up, the Washington Redskins, RG3, who
Yes.
in the first half of that game against the Eagles on Monday night looked like he hadn't played at all in the preseason. Started to figure out in the second half a little bit. Now, did the Philly defense ease up a little bit because they were crushing them in the second half, and that's why they were able to get those points? Don't know. But they provide problems for the Packers. Pierre Garcon, the ability to stretch the field. They have tight ends that can go down the middle and make plays like Fred Davis. And then on top of that, you have a running back in Alfred Morris, who last year played very well. Now, with Johnny Jolly on the defensive line, I'm being told by Roy Butler and Gary Ellison, who do the big show with me, they're going to stop pretty much whoever they have this year as far as running the football because of how good their defensive line should be for the Packers. If that's the case, now we're back to safety play. And can these safeties play well enough to contain this Washington wide receiving core and tight ends?
Well, to me, the key is Morris. They got to shut him down. And you followed Mike Shanahan's career in Denver. He makes average running backs into exceptional running backs. I mean, Terrell Davis, I mean, granted, he is a very good running back,
Sure.
but he was in the right system at the right time. And Morris had a super year last year. Shanahan loves to establish a run. He'll run that stretch offense. And, the Packers have to shut it down. If they don't shut down Morris, I think they're going to be in trouble.
Well, see, and that's it. Don't forget, this Redskins team was a playoff team last year.
Correct.
So this isn't just some four-win team. Because I think Packer fans are looking at it going, well, we played the best team in the league, probably the Niners. We'll beat the Redskins in Green Bay. I wouldn't get too overly confident about the Redskins game. I think the Packers win this game. For the record, I'm picking the Packers to win.
Yeah, a close game.
Right, but I think the Redskins will have a chance.
Well, so do I. I mean, RG3, if he goes crazy, he's as tough as any quarterback to stop. I mean, he's a Kaepernick, all over again. The other thing I'm concerned about, we talked about Bakhtiari at left tackle. The Redskins' defensive line is very good.
Sure.
And he's going to get tested again. And I guarantee you, they're going to come right at him. Same with Barkley.
Well,
I mean, those guys are still improving in my mind. And
the other thing is, Josh Sewell got bad back, didn't practice on Wednesday. If he's not able to go, they're saying Marshall Newhouse is going to be at left guard.
how's his hands and arms? Can they still hold on to people?
I think so. Yeah, as far as I know, they're still good.
I don't know about you. Have you ever seen a guard get 3 penalties in a game?
I don't know. I'm sure it's happened.
Oh, I'm sure it's happened. Not a recent
We have
time.
Josh Sitton as our weekly guest on the Wendy's Big Show on Tuesdays at 4:35. So this was his first week on, and we talked about it. And
I bet he is thrilled.
He himself, pretty much said, look, I'm still trying to go from right to left side.
Exactly.
Because the footwork, everything is the exact opposite. So my muscle memory and what I'm used to doing for my whole career now, I have to forget and try to do something different. And he said, look, when you're in practice, that's one speed. When you're in preseason, that's another speed. And then when you get to the regular season, that's yet another speed. He'll figure it out. He'll be all right.
He will figure it out, but I don't understand why the Packers still.
Why they flipped him?
Yeah, I mean, the other day I thought of something. If you look at the San Francisco 49ers, their 2 best offensive linemen are on the left side. Staley and who's the tackle?
Ayupati? No.
Yeah, Ayupati.
Staley's
Tackle.
tackle.
Correct. Those are two really, really good players. They're both on the left side. I wonder if that didn't come into play, that the Packers saw something from that standpoint.
Well, I think you just want to protect Rodgers' blind side.
No,
so
that's
the
number
2
one.
best players are on the left side, you protect his blind side.
Yeah.
That's all I could think of. One way or the other, I don't know. So you're taking the Packers in this game?
I am, reluctantly.
And the other thing I wanted to kind of pay attention to as a fan, I want to see how loud it gets. Because that south end zone now is done, and you saw it for a couple preseason games, but that place should be a rocking, and I want to see just how much louder it will get inside Lambeau down there on that field than it has been in the past. This may be more of a true home field advantage for the Packers than they've ever had.
Yeah, and that's been kind of a myth over the years about home field advantage.
Well, they win there, that's why it's home field advantage.
They do, but when they had bad players, they didn't win there,
Right.
you know? So, I think it'll be a factor, but again, when you're at that level, you go into all different sorts of stadiums, and you deal with this. I mean, you know, no matter where you play,
But
at least as a fan, you're talking
Right, but as a fan being there,
Yeah.
because they're saying everything I'm seeing, and Gery Woelfel had been there for one of the preseason games, and he said, Spark, he goes, that south end zone is way loud. He goes, it's way louder than anything I've ever heard.
Why would it be specifically the south end zone, though?
Because that's where they put up that extra set of seats, and now it's all
Yeah.
locked in. So
Right.
before, that south end zone was open air on that south end
Yeah,
zone.
no, I understand that part of it, but why would it be any louder now than the other sections of the stadium?
Then the north end zone?
Yeah.
I don't know, but he said that south end zone is really loud. So, I don't know. We're gonna-
Can you report back to me next week on that? And ask
I don't know if he's
Allison?
going to know. I don't think he's got a degree in sound. I don't know if he'll understand.
Maybe
that.
it'll be on like one of those ESPN sports science things, you know, the south end zone of the green.
I don't like that show.
It's kind of hokey. I
like that?
mean, let's say if they're factually incorrect. Who out there is even going to know? You know, nobody. They throw so much at you, you have no idea if they're accurate or not.
I agree. Here's Gery Woelfel of the Racine Sports Zone, sleeping Greg Geeson producing this fine show. Steve Sparky, Fifer here from Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Sports Junkies. We'll see you when we see you.
Ta-ta.